What's up guys, Protagonist here, and today I'm gonna do an awesome deck profile on my Royal Paladin Blaster Exceed deck with the brand new cards from GBT-11. So we finally gotten our brand new Gancelot. I've given him a test run and he works really well. He's definitely the card that we really needed as Royal Paladin players because of all the threat, all the removals that actually affect our Blaster Blade. So Gancelot is an amazing card because first off, at first strike, you're getting Quad Drive for no cost, and let's not forget that he not only gives you no cost, he helps you recover resources, counter blast, while giving you a Quad Drive just for free. So this is such an amazing card, and also his secondary effect, which when he's face up in the G zone, your Blaster Blade has the resist ability during your turn, so your opponent will no longer be able to mess up your Alfred plays, which is one of the biggest weaknesses back then when I was using the Exceed deck. So right now the deck is really running really smoothly. Not a lot of cards, not a lot of stuff can stop the combos. Of course, it's still kind of far from tier 1 or broken. It's a really good card. So let me do a deck profile on the deck and explain all the card effects and why I simply play them. So I actually made a little bit of changes to my deck. Right, this is I actually been testing this deck. If you guys watch my duo video, I have just played around with this deck. I don't think it's optimal yet, but for now, it actually worked really well for me. So if you guys are trying to build an Exceed deck, definitely give this build a go. It's not very expensive because the secondary Vanguard is actually just Liu. Yeah, Blaster Liu, I think. Yeah, Blaster Liu. So let's get started. First up, the great trees of the deck is 4 copies of Blaster Exceed. He's a very important card of the deck because first off, he has the ability to help you. Whenever perform strike, you'll be able to fetch a blaster so that you'll be able to use it for your Alfred combos. Or of course, search another copy of itself so that you can pay for strike next turn. That's what I usually do. And since Gancelot at the first strike gives you a free counter charge, you should actually use the skill so that you'll be able to get free resources. So whenever you perform strike, counter blast 1, search your deck for one card the Blaster Blade in the name. So it could be any Blaster Blade Exceed, Blaster Blade Spirit, or OG Blaster Blade. Search for one of those cards and add it to your hand. So that's a +1 for a cost of Count Blast. Second ability is also a very important ability because it helps you control the field. So when this card enters the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, so either when you write him as a Vanguard or you call it as a Rearguard, he has a skill which is you can pay the cost of 1 Counter Blast. If you do, select one of your opponent's Rearguard that is grade 1 and above and retire it. So very important in this format because there are quite a lot of dangerous grade 1s on your opponent's field, and it is very important for you to remove them before you go into make big plays. For example, you're going up against Angel Feathers. They have Broken Heart. Most likely you can just end your combo because most likely you gain so much defense you won't be able to hit through. So it's very important to retire the Broken Heart so that you can go for swing into the Vanguard. So that's why he is very popular in Japanese meta. The fact that he allows you to retire stuff and control the board is just such a good card. So 4 copies of Blaster Blade Exceed. Right, this is because it's our man Blaster Blade. Next up, 4 copies of Liu. So this Liu used to be a promo and he's reprinted as a rare for this set. So hooray budget players. When this card enters the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, select one drop zone Blaster Blade card and send it to the bottom of the deck. If you do this unit gains, for this turn it gains a 5k power. So during the turn you call it, it is quite a big attacker because it gains an additional 5k. Means 1 more additional card for your opponent to guard with. So and helps cycle back your Blaster Blade, which is very important because you actually cycle through your Blaster Blade quite fast since you will be able to search out Blaster Blade most of the time. Second ability is while on the Rearguard circle and Guardian circle, he gains a skill. He gains an intercept skill, so he's a grade 3 that can intercept and gains a 5k shield. So I don't mind calling him as a Rearguard. Sometimes he works really well. So just additional defense, just some cool stuff, and he has Blaster in the name, so it's pretty awesome. In a way because you can search out with our boy Winger Brave, search out blasters. So that's a great tree. If you want to make changes, go ahead. I just play it for fun. I'm just testing whether we need the 8 great trees. Some people might play less, but you can just cut down based on the preference. So grade 2, we play 4 copies of Blaster Blade, your original Blaster Blade, because he can be abused in so many ways, especially with Floggo, such a good card. So Blaster Blade, when this card enters the Vanguard circle, right as a Vanguard, you Counter Blast 2, and you can retire one of opponent's Rearguards. 0, 1, 2, 3, any one of them. When he is placed on the rearguard circle, Counterblast 2 and select a grade 2 and above. So you won't be able to tie those smaller units. So that's why you need your Blaster Blade Exceed, because he is able to retire grade 1s, which is actually quite good. Right, so 4 copies of Blaster Blade, because he's just there for all the combos. And yeah, some mechanics I'll be explaining later on. So 4 copies of Liu, Light and Darkness Liu, Disciple of Light and Darkness Liu, still a very good card in this deck due to the fact that he is able to call out a Blaster Blade, and if you have a Bug Gown behind, you will be able to get you're basically pulling out of his effect for free, because when this guy attacks at the end of the battle, when he's boosted by a Bug Gown or a Flogo, so any of these cards, so if boosted by any of these, he will be able to Counterblast 1 and enter the Soul of the Vanguard. So first, you're gonna get a free Soul Charge, and secondly, he's able to call a Blaster unit from the deck into your field. So most of the time, I will attack him, boosted, call a Blaster Blade, counter charge, so making his skill free. Then Blaster Blade can swing one more time, and Blaster Blade gains a 3k power, so he'll be able to solo the Vanguard as well. So that's a very, very important card in the deck. Definitely must play in all Blaster deck. You wanna cut down. Most likely, if you play Sentry card, you could cut down, but this is a pure Blaster Exceed deck, so I play 4. Next up, 2 copies of Trumpeter. I would play more Spirit, but I have 1 Spirit only for some reason. Anyone willing to donate me spirits? I need English one, so yeah, I actually play English now. So yeah, that's a cool thing. You guys should know. So Trumpeter, when this card is caught from the hand to your rearguard circle, you pay the cost of 1 Counterblast, and if you have an Alfred or Blaster Blade Vanguard, search your deck for 1 card and call it to rearguard circle and gives a 3k power. So very good, because you'll be able to call anything in the deck. You can call. Usually what I do is I set up my Buckle so that I can go for, so I can counter charge late game. See, so it is not that bad. You can play 2, or just play like take out 1 for like a Blaster Spirit. Alright, the reason why I play 1 copy of Blaster Blade Spirit is because early game, when he's boosted by Wingull Brave, when you're riding a grade 2, his boosted Wingull Brave can go to Soul, search out for grade 3 in case you're misgrading. Otherwise, he's just there as a balloon to pop. He's just a 10k vanilla. Yeah, he's actually very good because his 10k base helps you guard early game. So I recommend you to get 2 at least, I guess. But yeah, Blaster Blade Spirit, because it's a Blaster Blade, so play. Right, next up, grade 1s, 4 copies of Blaster Friend Bakao. So here's the Blaster in the name. Boost, very good, because early game boosted by Wingull attack hits, you can still search out your grade 3s or any blaster you need. Ability is whenever a Blaster Blade in the card name, so it can't be any Blaster Blade, so you only specifically Blaster Blade, you can counter charge 1. You won't be able to pull off this effect if you call a Blaster Blade Exceed. So be careful, guys. It's Blaster Blade counter charge 1, very good, because more counter blast means more advantage for you, especially in this deck. And 4 copies of Strike Helpers might be a little overkill. I might plan to take 1 out, but so far it's fine, I guess. You could play more tech cards, yeah, but I just want to strike, I guess. You know, you hate those situations where I need a top deck grade 3 and you just don't top deck. Yeah, that's terrible. Now this is a new card. 3 copies of Elaine. Is this Elaine? Lian, sorry, she's Lian. Lake Maiden Lian is now a perfect guard. And she has a very interesting ability. Her full name is Divine Fountain Maiden Lian. So what she does is, she's a perfect guard, but you won't be able to use her usual ability to discard 1 card. Her skill is, when this card is placed from your Guardian Circle from your hand, so unfortunately, if you are using Maron, you won't be able to abuse her as a perfect guard. So when this card is placed from your hand to your Guardian Circle, pay the cost of 1 Soul Blast, and if your Vanguard is Alfred or Blaster, you can nullify attack. So it's really good because instead of discarding 1 card, you just need a Soul Blast 1, which is basically a free cost to discard a card. I mean to perfect guard. So that's really good. I've tried her and I really, really like her because extra cards really helps in RP. And 1 copy of the Brave Perfect Guard because alright, based on what I've tested today, I only have 3 souls most of the time. I don't want to risk playing 4 copies because you can't use a skill you can't discard 1 to use this perfect guard. You have to Soul Blast. So even though this card is dead. So 3 copies is safe and maybe just 1 just in case I need a perfect guard. And he has a brave ability to bounce back the hand. So yeah, pretty much that. And 2 copies of Doge, young Wingull Youth. when this unit boosts and attack hits. Oh, sorry, it doesn't need a boost. When this unit attacks, I remember it hits. Yeah, it just hits, boost or attack hits the Vanguard. You can check top 7 cards of the deck. If you do for a Blaster Blade unit, Blaster Blade card, so it could be Blaster Spirit or Exceed. If you add it to your hand, you must go into the soul. So yeah, very nice because it gives you free soul charge and help you cycle through your deck fast. Right, that's great ones. Let's go into our triggers. Triggers, we play 4 critical. This critical is so good. If you're not playing in blasters, you're doing wrong. His ability, her ability is when at the end of the battle, the Blaster Blade, specifically Blaster Blade attacks, counter blast 1, then shuffle back into a deck. If you do, restand up your avatar. So very good, especially with the fact that you have a twin driving Blaster Blade, then restand. Wow, that is just so much gains. Especially the power maintains on your Blaster Blade, so you'll be swinging multiple times with the heavy power. Very, very important in the deck. 4 copies of Outmao Perfect Guards. I do play Aerial Diviner Outmao, so sometimes you can go to soul draw on free card for that soul charge. 4 copies of Muggles. If you want to play 12 crits, go ahead. I just play Muggles because I like Muggles. Soul charge is quite important sometimes. And 4 copies of Elaine. So Elaine is, you could play the Masgal, but I don't have Masgals because I am saving for English. So I recommend you to play Masgals if you want to. It's all up to player preference actually. The Masgals doesn't really affect the deck a lot. So 4 copies of heal triggers because G Guardians is just so important. And finally, the starter we have here is Winger Brave. First gen, very important card. When this unit boosts a blaster and attack hits, chuck in the soul, search a deck for 1 blaster card. Usually what I search for is Blaster Friend Bakao. Since you'll be able to search out any blasters, I search out Blaster Friend Bakao so they can set up the counter charge engine. Very, very important. So yeah, very important card. It's a very good card. You want to play more, actually you can play 2, I don't know. You can play 2 over the Grade 3, I guess. Alright, so let's go on to the most interesting part of the deck profile, which is the G units. Yeah. So the G units right now, we have 4 copies of the brand new Gancelot. This Gancelot is a lifesaver for Blaster Blade decks, right? So what Gancelot does, Holy Divine Knight Gancelot Peace Saver. So this is Secret Generation Rare, if you guys are checking it out. Yep. Something about the future, I can't read Jap. So yeah, so his ability is when this unit attacks and you have a hard card with the Alfred or Blaster, so I will actually play in my Alfred deck as well. You can counter charge 1 until end of battle. This unit gives us 1 drive, so it's a quad drive, and you have a face up card in your G zone, it gains 1 critical. So one amazing thing this card is, one amazing reason why this card is so good is because in your first strike you're getting quad drive. Okay, so usually your first strike your opponent won't guard that card. So yeah, if chances are I'm checking that double crit, man. It's just so damn obvious. Alright, so that's why it's just so good. And yeah, even though it doesn't get a critical during your first strike, because otherwise it's gonna be so broken. Or maybe it could if you G Guardian your first turn, your opponent's first strike or something like that. Wow, the first crit, wow, that is gonna kill your opponents. So second ability, the reason why he's so important for all blaster decks, continuous. During your turn, when this card is face up in your G zone, so while in your G zone and you strike into Alfred, your Blaster Blade gets the resist ability. So any Blaster Blade. So thank you guys for actually telling me. I actually did not know because it's a new card. Now any Blaster Blade in a unit on your field gains the resist ability. So if you're abusing Alfred, do not need to worry about Denial Griffin anymore because it has the resist ability. So no what they call it, the Gear Chronicle bouncing that shit back. No, hell no, you're gonna eat that. You're gonna eat my twin drive, bruh. So this is why it's so damn good. I play 4 of this because it's so spammable. Even if you're not striding, you just wanna wreck your opponent's face, right? Just get the extra crit and 1 drive. Yeah, just so damn good. 4 copies. You want to play 3, it's fine. Honestly, I will only use 3 at max. Even if I played long games, 3 is the most I used. But it's still a wonderful card. If you have the budget, go for 4, of course. Next up, 4 copies of Alfred. Alfred is now so good. Thank you, Gancelot, my buddy. So Alfred, basically just gives your Blaster Blade additional any Blaster Blades, the Twin Drive ability, and yeah, if you combine with Floggles, you basically have a monster on the field. So yeah, it's just simple. I'm not gonna go through the whole ability, it's too long-winded. Count Blast 1, discard 1, and flip a copy of yourself face up. 4 copies of Aerial Divine Knight Armor. He's just there because I like to use him, because sometimes my opponent don't give me Counter Blast, and I just use him to fetch out some random cards. Such as like if I have the setup, the Buckle NG setup, I'll just call a Blaster Blade and just go on my shit because I can counter charge 1. So this is a very, very important card. Very, very good card. I mean, since we already have like your first strike targets and the conservative strikes, you're gonna be like using Alfred anyway, it's okay to play 4. If you want to play Fides, is also cool, but I just play Outmount because I don't have Fides. I mean, I have Fides, but I prefer Outmount. Outmount is just my favorite card. So G Guardians now. 1 copy of the Aichi Legend deck. Isode, count plus 1 for each Royal Paladins on your field, gains this 5k shield, so potentially you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 25, 40k shield sometimes. Honestly, the most of the times I always have 1 empty rear guard circle for some reason, so yeah, it's still like a 30k shield, so great card. 1 copy of Masgal, Evolution Masgal. So this card is actually given by one of you guys, so thank you so much for this card. I love this card, even though I actually it's not very optimal in this deck because I don't play 5 G Guardians, but thank you for this card anyway. This card is amazing because it's quite good because core cost GB1, when this card is placed on the Guardian circle, flip a G card face up, and it gains plus 10k shield, so it's a 25k shield for free cost. So yeah, sometimes you don't have Counter Blast, and he will be a better card than Isode. Next up, 2 Laser Guard Dragons. Basically, if you have a grade 2 on your field, grade 2 Ray Guards, he gains 5k power, 5k defense, so it's a 20k shield. Easy. So I hope you guys enjoy my deck profile on the brand new Blaster Exceed deck with the Gancelots. If I'll be doing more deck profile, I will let you guys know. But make sure you subscribe to this channel because I will be doing more GBT-11 decks, such as the Domination deck, which is coming really soon. So if you guys want to like learn how to build the best decks, make sure you subscribe to my channel right now. And I hope to see you guys next time. Peace out and love you guys. Rawr.